Joining us this morning is Standard & Poor's Financial Services Head of Tech Sector Equity Research, Scott Kessler. Scott, always good to see you. And, you know, a lot has been made about this lawsuit that HP filed against Hurd and against Oracle, and now they've come to this settlement in 2 weeks. I mean, what do you make of the speed of this settlement?
I think really what it underscores, Betty, is the fact that, frankly, I don't think HP had much of a leg to stand on. And I think that a lot of what was going on here was posturing as well as trying to figure out the best way to kind of move forward. In the end, these companies have been working together for, as Larry Ellison indicated in a release, more than 25 years, and something like this probably shouldn't have caused as many issues as it did temporarily.
Well, Scott, what do you think was what pushed HP into settling, and also, of course, Oracle? I'm sure they wanted to settle. Was it the fact that they didn't have much of a leg to stand on, or was it more that they had this 25-year relationship?
I think probably a little of both, candidly, as well as just wanting to kind of move past the conflict and get on to good business with one another, because of course they've had a successful partnership, but in addition, a lot of what HP seemingly was trying to do, which is enforce clauses and laws related to intellectual property and non-compete opportunities for Mark Hurd. The reality is these are very difficult to enforce in these contexts in California.
Right.
We think that ultimately HP realized that, well, perhaps at the least they could get back some of the stock options that they granted to Hurd that they were so widely criticized for.
Right. It sounds like the reward wasn't really going to be enough, really, to continue to pursue this. Essentially, the damage it could have caused with its relationship with Oracle. Scott, you've been covering obviously Silicon Valley for many years. How will this lawsuit, the fact that it's been settled, I mean, how's that going to play out in Silicon Valley? I mean, are pretty much people going to be cheering this, or were they pretty ambivalent to it?
I think people were interested just based on the sheer power of the companies and the personalities involved. I mean, you're talking about arguably some of the most important and powerful people in Silicon Valley involved in this situation on some level. The reality is, though, with the exception of perhaps looking at it from perhaps, I don't know, a gossip perspective, I think a lot of people looked at this as somewhat of a sideshow relative to what's really going on, which is seemingly a major company is making a major acquisition once every couple of days, it seems. But
there's no sigh of relief. I mean, was anybody actually even worried that if this case was going to go to court, that it may prevent others from trying to jump ship to other companies?
It's possible, although I think a lot of people believe that really, in the end, this is something that wouldn't have been resolved in HP's favor. And so in light of that, I think a lot of people were wondering when and how this was going to be resolved.
Right.
But at the end of the day, I mean, when you saw Mark Hurd on Oracle's earnings conference call and at Open World, you kind of knew that this was a done deal.
This was a done deal, right. Okay, Scott, we'll leave it there. Good to talk with you. Scott Kessler, rest in peace.